Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Please be seated. Relatives of the victims of the Lusignan Massacre, community members, fellow ministers of the Cabinet of the PPPC government of Guyana, special invitees, friends, members of the media, all. I bid you good evening and ask that all protocols be established. This is the first time I'm here in my capacity as Prime Minister and to attend this activity. And let me commend the Indian Action Committee and the Panko Steel Fabrication for hosting this activity on an annual basis from the time the massacre occurred. And you know, without giving too much details, I was in the military during the time of this massacre. And we were supporting the Guyana Police Force in the operations against a gang that committed this massacre. It was an arduous, difficult operation against that gang. But eventually we were successful. Or else there would have been many, many more massacres in Guyana. On my way to this commemoration, I thought of the concept of time. More specifically, I thought of the things that the average person could do within 20 minutes. Because it took us about 20 minutes to drive from Georgetown to Lusignan. 20 minutes a day is the recommended time a person needs to build a healthy fitness routine. In 20 minutes, you could watch the average television show. 20 minutes seem harmless, routine, even depending on the task that you undertake in that time. But on Saturday, January the 26th, 2008, 20 minutes drastically impacted this community and the nation as a whole, when the lives of 11 peaceful and unsuspecting men, women, and children were mercilessly taken by the cruel, ruthless gunmen during that time. You know, time is a funny thing. They say all things heal with time. But this occurrence, known today as the Lusignan Massacre, is one that has since cast a gloomy shadow over the history of our country and remind us all of a dark time for Guyana, a time that will not be forgotten. For those 5 children and 6 adults, time is no more. And for their family, who must live with their loss every moment of every day, and the members of this community who lived and laughed with them, their time on this earth has never been the same. Yet, though eclipsed by death, fear, anguish, and frustration, this community of Lusignan has remained steadfast in their faith, and they cling to the memories of these 11 people, so haunted by the occurrence that so quickly took them away from here. It's no easy task to walk in sorrow, grief, and loss while living with the reality that you must keep on moving. So as your Prime Minister, I salute the strength of you, the people of Lusignan. You, the people who will not give up. You, the people who daily display the determination of moving forward while honoring the lives of your loved one that were lost in the massacre. When I think of those perilous years, I'm forced to recall not just the precious lives of those 11 people, but of all those who fell victim to the merciless actions brought about by conflicts that has erupted across Guyana. Less than 1 month, as you heard earlier, after the Lusignan Massacre, 13 people, including 3 policemen, were killed in what became known as the Bartica Massacre. We are all reminded of these dark times. Not to dwell on them, but to be guided by the lessons learned as a nation and as a government. That such a time, as you heard before, such a time must never reoccur. It must not happen again. And that is our commitment. That all our efforts and our resources must be focused towards ensuring that our citizens must never again live in the fear that has been cast over this country during that era. Though it was a colossal cost, we were given an enduring warning to be proactive and to be ever vigilant so that our nation, our people, are always protected, that the hostilities that had erupted in those perilous years past will never see the light of day in this country again. Even as we protect you, our citizens, our unity as a people must accompany those efforts. Strife and interpersonal confrontations must be set aside so that we can focus our energies on healing. But it is not just healing that we need. We must build. We must build this nation on the foundation of these painful but sturdy lessons. Lessons that will guide us on how not to repeat those mistakes. Throughout my military career, I have formed the opinion that I hold strongly, that if Guyana is to develop, we must have racial unity. We must have democracy. And all of us must commit to an important role in public safety and public security and the defense of Guyana. So today, friends, I urge that we must remember that time is of the essence. Time changes everything. And as we remember, we must say these names: Clarence, Vanessa, and Ron Thomas, Mohandan Gurdat, Sigo Paul and Sigo bin Harilal, Danwaji Ram Singh, Sicharan Ruplal, Rewati Ram Singh, Shazam Mohammed, and Shalim Bash. The lives of these precious souls must not have been lost in vain. It will forever serve as guidance for an outcome we must work our utmost to avoid in the future. May God continue to grant their souls eternal peace. I thank you for being here this afternoon.